Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here on time. Before we start the meeting, I would like to introduce Ms. Noor Husna, the President of Kokora Berhad and the Chairman for the meeting for today.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the meeting of Board of Directors for Kokora Berhad. In the view of the current COVID-19 pandemic, which exposed us to various viruses and influenza, thus we have come to an agreement through the resolution of the previous board meeting to conduct for today's meeting through virtually by using Teams platform. We are recording this morning's proceedings so that it will be easier to prepare a complete minute of the meeting and can be as evident. Before we proceed, I would like the company secretary to confirm if a quorum is present.
Yes, Ms. Chairman, based on the list of attendance and the participants for today's meeting, the number is tally, which reflects that there are the quorum present, as required by the article number 73, or under the section 328, subdivision 5 of the Companies Act 2016, which stated that the quorum at the meetings can be attended by 2 members or by proxy unless there is a specific number required in the company constitution. Before we start the meeting, allow me to introduce the fellow directors who are here today. The first one is the Managing Director, Ko Yizhuo. The second one is the Independent Director, Noor Huda binti Rosli. The next one is the Independent Director, Noor Shara binti Shamsuddin. Thus, the meeting can be called to order.
Well, it is great to have everyone here and fulfill the meeting quorum for at least 2 votes to pass the decision made. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of all our Executive Board of Directors as well. Now, I would like to introduce Ms. Chin Pei En, our Company Secretary, who will coordinate for today's meeting. Before I proceed to the main agenda for today, will the Company Secretary read the previous minute of meeting?
Sure, Ms. Chairman. During the last meeting, all matters were discussed and have come to a resolution. As the previous meeting minutes, we have come to a resolution as follows. First, BDO PLT has been appointed as our external auditor for our company, Kokora Berhad. The change of company names from Kokora Group Berhad to Kokora Berhad.
Great. So, are there any corrections or amendments to be made to the previous minutes? Hearing none, thus I call a motion to approve the previous meetings.
I second the motion.
Okay, thank you for today's meeting. Ms. Chin Pei En will establish that the meeting has been duly called.
Sure, thank you, Ms. Chairman. The notice of meetings has been mailed to all the directors for record. As stated in the notice, there are 10 agenda to be discussed, and the purpose of this meeting are as follows. First, to approve the audited financial statements and other related reports. Second, to re-elect the directors. Third, to approve the payment of directors' fee. Next is to appoint and fix the auditor's remuneration. Next, to approve the authority to issue share. Next, to approve the loan request from one of our directors, Noor Shara binti Shamsuddin. Next, to remove the director, Noor Huda binti Rosli. The next one is to discuss and approve the resolution in matters regarding auditory business of the annual general meeting. Next, to review the notice of annual general meeting. The last one is to review and authorize the company secretary to issue the notice of annual general meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Chin Pei En. On the basis of the Secretary's report, I hereby declare that the meeting is duly convened. Also, with the consent of the members present, I declare that the notice of board meeting have been circulated, which was taken as read. Ms. Chin Pei En, can you please explain the voting procedure to us, as the resolution will be made through voting? I believe that the explanation will enlighten all directors upon this matter.
Sure, Ms. Chairman. Our meeting will discuss the agenda accordingly based on the sequence that I have read just now and have written in the notice of board meeting. As proposed in the Company Act 2016, paragraphs 9 and 11, the resolution of each agenda will achieve through votings from all the directors by show of hands, and each director has 1 vote. At the end of each agenda, the chairman will announce the resolution and directors can start voting. So when the chairman calls for the vote, directors may raise your hand in front of the screen or through the icons through this platform. From there, the chairman can decide for for the resolution by following the majority. Upon the voting section, if there is any objection from the directors, you may unmute your microphone and voice out for objection. That is all for the voting procedure, and now I will pass the floor to Ms. Chairman to start the meeting.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chin Pei-en, for the explanation. I hope everyone is clear regarding the voting procedure. So let us start the first agenda of the meeting, which related to review and approve the audited financial statement and related reports for the year ended 31 March 2023. According to the audit opinion given through the audit report, our financial statements are presented in true and fair view. Can we have our Managing Director, Ms. Ko Yezo, to explain briefly about the audited financial statement?
Yes, sure. I have emailed the unapproved audited financial statement to all the directors previously. I have gone through the audited financial statement. The auditor found out that there is a material misstatement of information in the disclosure notes of the reports. However, the auditor still provided us with an unqualified auditor opinion since they are satisfied with the adequate and sufficient evidence that we provide them. The auditor also believed that the material misstatement in the disclosure notes also would not influence the quality of the report and will not mislead the audience. Next, I will show the financial performance of our company. As shown in the slide, our company shows a positive performance compared to last year. Although it is not increasing as we expected through budgeting, but a slight rise also indicate that our company are in a positive direction. Furthermore, the economic circumstance is still fluctuating and the process to bounce back to recover from the pandemic. Thus, the increase also means our company are also in the process of recovering and shows that our business is growing. In terms of planning for the future strategy, we are aiming to implement control on operating expenses and focus on developing a new customer base. We will also evaluate any opportunities in investing into new potential business, such as peeling business, to achieve profit in the coming year. That's all from me.
Thank you for the clarification. Is there any objections, questions, or comments regarding the financial statements?
No, Ms. Chairman.
Okay, so based on this matter, is there any objection from the directors? Alright, thank you everyone. Since there is no objection hearing on this matter, so the audited financial statement is approved and will be presented in the auditor annual general meeting as one of the agendas. The approved and audited financial statements and reports will be circulated at least 21 days before the annual general meeting. Moving on to the next agenda, which related to the re-election of directors. For this agenda, can we have Ms. Chin Pei-en to provide us some details upon this matter?
Yes, sure. According to the Section 205, Subsection 3B of the Company Act 2016, 1/3 of the directors in the current management shall retire from office. So, in our case, in accordance to the stated provision, there is only one director that's subject to the retirement by rotation. But don't worry, as the retirement director still eligible for the re-election as claimed under the Section 205, Subsection 5.
Oh, I see. So how are we going to select for the director that's subject to retirement? Are there any specific criteria that entitles for the director to retire?
Yes, Chairman. According to the Company Act, under the Subsection 205, Subsection 4, the director shall retire if he has been served for the longest in the office since the last election.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Chin Pei-en, for the explanation. So, if it is based on the longest term of performance to the company, I think I am the one who has served the longest to the company compared to the other directors.
Yes, it is true, Ms. Chairman. Since Ms. Chairman is subject to retirement by rotation for the term soon, so I would like to seek for the suggestion from the other director for the nomination to re-elect the director, or is everyone agreed to reappoint Ms. Chairman, who is Ms. Nur Husna, as our director?
As for me, I agree to reappoint Ms. Nur Husna as our chairman for the next period, since she has a great performance and contribute a lot to the company.
Yeah, I also agree. Therefore, I second the motion.
So I think we have come to the resolution where our chairman will be subject to retirement and will be reappointed as the director again for the next period.
Okay, that is great. Thus, I think this agenda has been resolved with a decision to reappoint me as the director. So we can move to the next agenda. Alright, for the next agenda, it is related to the payment of directors' fees. So for this agenda, I would like to hear opinions and thoughts from the other directors as well.
So I would like to suggest that the level of the director's fees to increase by 5% from the previous rate for the next term of period since our company shows positive performance. This recommendation is actually aligned with Practice 8.2 of the Malaysian Code of Corporate Governance MCCG, which stipulates that the salary, bonus, benefit in kind, and other emolument for the top 5 senior manager, which is us, should fall within RM 50,000 ringgit Malaysia. So besides, I also would like to suggest that the board to review and reconsider the supplementary perks such as bonuses, allowance for mileage, and also childcare, excluding the health benefits. So conversely, the board should contemplate providing share options as a substitute for the annual bonus payment. So in summary, I would encourage the board, which is us, to give the reward or perks in non-monetary value or benefit in kind as a reward to motivate all directors to work harder. That's for
I
me.
object with the suggestion. From my view as the managing director, although our company has a slight increase in the revenue and performance for this year, but our company still need extra funds to recover the major losses that we suffered during the pandemic. Thus, we need to use our funds efficiently by controlling the operational expenses. The other option that we can practice is by reduce the monetary benefits of the directors to gain more fund to support the company's growth. Furthermore, I also would like to suggest the board to restructure the directors' benefits by considering various factors such as the frequency of regular and special board meetings, special board committee meetings, and the number of the non-executive directors and individuals that attend these meetings. This is because nowadays most of the meetings are being conducted virtually due to the new norms and work from home regulations. As a result, the company can reduce the meeting attendance allowances and the mileage allowances.
I agree with both suggestions stated. Maybe we can opt for both opinion, which is to maintain the level of current directors' remuneration, and at the same time, we control the company's operational expense by reducing the unnecessary benefit to the directors, such as mileage allowance, childcare allowance, and more.
Sounds great, as this idea has considered not only the director's side but also concerned with the company's situation. So does everyone agree with the idea given by Ms. Nurhuda just now?
Yes, I agree.
Yes, agree.
Hence, I hereby declare that the agenda resolved by having the decision where the remuneration of directors will be fixed as previous term and reducing the unnecessary monetary perks to control the expenses. The next agenda will be the reappointment and fixing remuneration of the auditor. Before further discussion, may we have Ms. Chin Pei-en to explain some information about this matter?
Yes, sure. Based on the meeting previously, we have appointed BDO PLT as our external auditor.
Since BDO PLT have shown us great performance as an external auditor to audit our company, so we may reappoint BDO PLT for the next term. Does anyone object to this suggestion?
We agree with the suggestion.
Yes, we agree.
Great, so now we will proceed with the remuneration of the auditor. Can we have our managing director to give us some details regarding the remuneration of the auditor?
Sure. For the current year, our company has paid 80,653 ringgit Malaysia to the BDO PLT for their service as the external auditors. It shows that there is an increment given if compared to the previous year's fees. According to subsection 2741B, the remuneration of the auditor shall be fixed by the board and looking at their commitment and the quality of work towards the company. Thus, I would like to recommend for the remuneration of the external auditor will be fixed as this year, which is at 80,653 ringgit Malaysian.
Thank you, Managing Director. Does anyone want to object to this motion? Since everyone is silent, thus I take that as everyone agreed with the suggestion given by Ms. Kor Yezo. So I think this agenda has been resolved, where our company agreed to reappoint BDO PLT as the external auditor with a remuneration at 80,653 per annum. This agenda will be carried to be present at the annual Grand General Meeting later.
Noted, Ms. Chairman.
Next, for the fifth agenda is regarding the authorization of the issuance of shares to the directors. Will the company secretary explain briefly regarding to this matter?
Yes, sure. Based on the Section 75, subsection 1 of the Company Act, it mentioned that the directors of the company are not allowed to allocate shares unless they receive prior approval through a resolution. Additionally, in Section 76, subsection 3, subsection A, stipulates that such approval has an expiry date. It either expires at the conclusion of the next AGM, following the approval, or at the end of the period within which the next AGM must be held after the approval, whichever comes first. In this case, the approval for issuing the share obtained at the previous AGM has expired. Therefore, we will obtain approval from the upcoming AGM.
Alright, thank you, Ms. Secretary. So for this agenda, may we hear opinions from the other directors?
Okay, based on the record, we have nearly 0.9 million units of ordinary shares. As for the future planning for the company, we still have sufficient resources to operate the business activities. Thus, in my opinion, we do not have the urge to issue additional ordinary shares, since we also have no planning to acquire more additional shares.
Great. So any objection from the other directors? Hearing none, thus I assume everyone have agreed with this suggestion. Therefore, we need to get approval for the authorization of the issuance of shares to the directors. So it will also become one of the agendas for the next AGM. Thus, I hereby declare that the agenda has been resolved.
All right, let's move to the next agenda.
For the next agenda, I just heard that Ms. Nur Shara has been written a letter regarding the loan matters. Could you please briefly explain about the purpose of the company trips so that we could consider as appropriate?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your attention to this matter. So for your information, I did request for advance funding for company trip to Beijing with a total amount of RM 19,000 ringgit, 19,400 ringgit Malaysia before our meeting. So alright, before that, I would like to brief on the main objective of the funding. So this trip is actually aims to expand our business reach, foster valuable partnership, and also to explore new markets. Why I say so? Because during this company trip, I will be attending to meetings with the potential clients, participate in industry conference, as well as some of other crucial networking events with the purpose of enhancing our market position and also to contribute to the growth and success of our organization. So therefore, I sincerely request advance funds from our company to facilitate the upcoming official trip. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the explanation by Ms. Nushara. By the way, I still want to oppose the requisition as according to Section 2 to 4 of Companies Act 2016. Under paragraph 1, it stated that a company shall not make a loan to a director of the company or of a company which by virtue of Section 7 is deemed to be related to that company.
Sorry for the interruption. According to Section 224 of Companies Act 2016, under paragraph 1, it does mention about what Ms. Nur Husna just said. However, if you, sorry, it's Ms. Huda just said, yeah. However, if you continue the reading on paragraph 2, there are some of the circumstances that section 224 is not applicable, which means that there are some of the circumstances that is allowed for a company to give loans to directors. Under paragraph 2, we can see that the company is allowed to provide director with funds to meet the expenditure incurred or to be incurred by him for the purpose of the company. From the statement, we are clear that the expenditures for upcoming company trip is for the purpose of the company, hence the requisition of loan is allowed and supported.
Yes, I second that too.
Thanks for the information proposed by both of you. Regarding the loan matters, we will bring it to our AGM to seek approval from our shareholders to avoid any conflicts of interest. Moreover, the company trip will be declared as business expenses as it is for business purpose. Lastly, it would be great if Ms. Nushara could provide any necessary documentation and more detailed information to facilitate the approval process.
Sure. I will provide later. Thank you, Ms. Chairman.
Alright, so we might move to the next agenda without wasting any time. The next agenda would be the requisition to remove Ms. Nur Huda as director of our company. Regarding to this matter, I would like to invite Ms. Chin Pei-en and Ms. Kaur to brief the issues of removal of directors.
Thank you, Ms. Chairman. On the 23rd of May 2022 and 2023, we do receive a special notice to convene a general meeting from Ms. Noor Hazam Maslan and Mr. Muhammad Hassan Buru, the members of Kokoro Berhad, in the aggregate of 1.2 million of ordinary shares on the date of this requisition. According to the section 311, subsection 3, subsection A, the director shall call for a meeting of members once the company has received to do so from members represent at least 10% of the paid-up capital for the company carry the right of voting at the meetings of members of the company, excluding any paid-up capital held as treasurer share. Moreover, as pursuant to section 206, a director may be removed before the expiry date of the director's tenure of office by the ordinary resolution at the meeting, wish a special notice or appoint another person instead of director at the same meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary, for the information. However, I would like to ask, is there any just and reasonable cause of the removal? As for our information, Ms. Noor Huda was a director since 28 June 2018 and her re-election in 15 of May 2020. This could indicate that she is not disqualified for being a director under Section 198. Furthermore, according to Section 2007, upon receiving the special notice for a resolution to remove a director under subsection 206, paragraph 3, the company shall forthwith send to the director a copy of the special notice. In addition, the director shall be given the right to make oral representation or written representation, not exceeding a reasonable length on the resolution to remove her.
Thank you, Ms. Kaur, for your supporting and the appropriate provisions.
I also oppose with the removal of Ms. Noor Huda as she always exercised reasonable care, skill as a director. Her full commitment and effort in promoting the success of the company can be seen all the time.
Alright, is there any opposer for the removal?
No.
No.
I second with the motion for not removing Ms. Noor Huda as well. Alright, let's proceed to the voting session. Please raise up your hand if you agree to remove Ms. Noor Huda from the office. Thank you everyone. Since there is no consensus made to remove Ms. Noor Huda, we will bring this issue to AGM for further discussion by our shareholders to avoid any unfairly prejudicial conduct. As for the appointment of Mr. Tanjunyi in place of Ms. Noor Huda will be postponed until the issue of removal comes to a decision. Now we would proceed with our next agenda, which is discussing on the approval of resolution in matters regarding to ordinary business of the annual general meeting.
Yes, Chairman. Our first resolution is to re-elect Ms. Nur Husna, who is retiring in accordance with Clause 106 of the company's constitution and being eligible offer themselves for re-election. As pursuant to Section 205, subsection 3, all directors or 1/3 of the directors shall retire from the office at the conclusion of AGM. Moreover, according to Section 205, subsection 5, it stated that a retiring director shall be eligible for re-election as if he is not disqualified under this Act. Therefore, if Ms. Nur Husna agrees to retire and able to meet the qualification of directors by the NRC and board, she will be eligible and offered for re-election at the 5th AGM.
Yes, I agree to retire at the upcoming AGM.
Alright then, Ms. Nur Husna will retire at the upcoming AGM and can be re-elected if she is qualified.
Thank you, Ms. Nuhuda. Now, let's move on to the second resolution, which is about the approval on the payment of directors' fees and benefits payable to the non-executive directors. Is there any opinion regarding to this matter?
Yes, Ms. Chairman. Regarding to this resolution, we opt to fix the remuneration of the director as previous term, as well as reduce or eliminate any unnecessary monetary benefits to control the expenses with the consideration of the current financial condition.
Thank you for the information. Let's move to the next resolution, which is about the reappointment BDO PLT as auditors of the company and the authorization of the board of directors to determine their remuneration. Ms. Kaur, can you brief on that?
Sure, Chairman. Regarding the reappointment of the external auditor, we will proceed with BDO PLT for the next term due to the great performance. And for the remuneration, we will be fixed at 80,653 ringgit Malaysia as pursuant to subsection 2741B, which remuneration shall be fixed by the board based on their commitment and quality of work towards the company. This resolution has been solved in our previous agenda and will bring to our upcoming AGM.
All right, thank you all for the briefing. Without wasting any time, let's proceed with our following agenda. Well, the next agenda would be reviewing the notice of AGM. I would like to invite Ms. Chin Pei En to provide us an update on the draft of the AGM notice.
Yes, Ms. Chairman. Regarding to the 5th Annual General Meeting, the meeting will be conducted on a fully virtual basis through Google Meet from the broadcast venue at the number 1023 Labina House 06000 Citra Kedah. The draft agenda will be based on the resolution from the last board meeting, which need to be approved by the members. First is to reappoint BDO PLT as auditors of the company. The following agenda is resolved in today's meeting and need to seek approval by the members. Therefore, it will also be included within the AGM agenda. First, to receive the auditor financial statements of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 2023, with the reports of the director and auditors thereon. Next is to approve the payment of director's fee and the benefits payable to the non-executive directors for the amount up to 700,000. The third one is the authority to issue shares pursuant to the Section 75 and the 76 of the Company Act 2016. Next is to remove Nur Huda binti Rosli from her office as director of the company. Next is to appoint Tan Junyi as a director of company subject to the approval in removal of director. The last one is to approve the loan request from Nur Shara binti Samsudin.
Thank you for the information from our Ms. Secretary. May I know when we'll get invited to join the AGM and how was the invitation method?
The notice of the meeting will be given 21 days before the meeting through personal email that has been registered under our company database. If there is any changes to be made, please notify me first. Does anyone have additional question?
No.
No.
All right, that's all for the notice of AGM. Thank you.
Here come to our last agenda. The last agenda will be on the authorization to issue notice of AGM. Before that, our secretary just covered all the resolutions that will bring for our upcoming AGM. Is there any objections on resolutions or any arising matters to add on?
No.
No.
Since there is no objections, Ms. Chin Pei En, please announce the details of AGM.
All right, Ms. Chairman. Now I would like to announce the date and the time of AGM, which is on Saturday, 15th of July 2023 at 2 p.m. through online meetings platform Google Meets.
Hopefully everyone could take note of the date and time of our AGM and arrange your schedule so that AGM can run smoothly. Before we end this agenda, Ms. Secretary, please prepare the notice of the AGM and send to the directors and shareholders by 25 June 2023. Thus, I hereby declare that all the agenda for today is resolved. If there are any changes, please make an amendment on the notice, but the date and time of AGM will still remain unchanged. As all the agenda have been discussed, hence we have reached to the end of our meeting. Is there any further business? Since there is no further business and objection, the meeting will be adjourned. Before we adjourn, let us decide on the date for the next Board of Meeting. Shall we meet on 1st November 2023 at 10 a.m.?
Sure.
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 So, thank you for attending to this meeting and your cooperation is highly appreciated. The meeting is adjourned and you may leave the meeting now.